Okay, let's just dive right in. We're going to talk about real magnetic attraction. And let me be clear, this isn't about tricks, manipulation, or cheesy pickup lines. This is about that energy, the kind that naturally draws people in, sometimes before you've even said a single word. And this, right here, gets to the heart of it. You see it all the time. On one side, you have the default approach, chasing, pursuing, basically putting in all this effort to get something. But on the other side, you have something totally different, attracting, pulling people into your world, into your orbit. Our whole goal here is to figure out what separates these two realities. It's so easy to think that attraction is all about the stuff you have, the right job, the right car, the perfect look. But what we're talking about here is something deeper. Those things are just on the surface. The real game changer, it's internal. It's all about the energy you project. So, let's kick things off with section 1, chasing versus attracting. And the big idea here is that genuine attraction isn't really about what you do, it's about who you are. It's a state of being, not a checklist of actions. Okay, let's talk about the word seduction for a second. Forget all the weird negative stuff you might associate with it. For our purposes, think of it simply as the art of creating curiosity. A magnetic person isn't desperately trying to get attention. Their grounded energy just naturally makes other people curious about them. They're drawn to how they feel when they're around you. And all of this, it starts inside. Think about it. If you're constantly looking for validation from other people, they can feel that neediness. It's like a repellent. But on the flip side, if you're coming from a place of self-acceptance, of quiet confidence, well, that puts everyone at ease. They can relax. And that's the space where real attraction can actually grow. Which brings us perfectly to section 2, the power of presence. I mean, in a world where everyone is glued to a screen, giving someone your complete, undivided attention, that's become one of the rarest and most attractive things you can possibly offer. So, what is presence, really? It's when you're not lost in your own head, thinking about what you're going to say next or glancing at your phone. You're just there, fully there, engaged with the moment, listening to actually understand, not just waiting for your turn to talk. And this is why it's so powerful. When you give someone your full presence, you're giving them an incredible gift. The gift of feeling truly seen, truly heard. It says so much without saying anything. It communicates strength, control over your own mind, and it builds this powerful emotional connection that words just can't touch. Just look at the difference in mindset here. On one side, you have someone who's seeking approval. Their mind is racing. What do I say next? Was that funny? On the other side, you have someone who is simply choosing to engage, listening. One is an act of taking validation. The other is an act of giving attention. And that one shift, it changes absolutely everything. Now, let's talk about how this internal state actually shows up on the outside. Welcome to section 3, the language of stillness. Because believe me, your body is communicating way more than your mouth ever will. A guy who has this magnetic energy. He doesn't rush. His movements are deliberate. They're controlled. There's no nervous fidgeting, no frantic energy. That slow, calm precision just signals that he's comfortable in his own skin and in control of his world. And the same thing goes for his voice. He isn't rushing his words, trying to fill every single second with noise. He speaks at a measured pace. He uses a lower tone. He isn't afraid of pauses. Sometimes the silence between the words carries more weight than the words themselves. And this right here, this is huge. Being comfortable in silence is a massive tell for confidence. It shows you don't need to constantly perform or entertain just to feel like you belong. That quiet power is incredibly compelling. We can even break this down into a really simple technique, like eye contact. It's not about a creepy stare down. It's more like a dance. First, you hold her gaze. Then, and this is the key, you let it linger for just a split second longer than is socially normal. You create a tiny moment of tension. And then you calmly look away. It's confident, not needy. Okay, let's go even deeper now in section 4 with depth, desire, and mystery. We're moving past just behaviors and into the internal frameworks that create that lasting, deep attraction. I absolutely love this metaphor. It perfectly captures what's known as the masculine frame. A man with a strong frame is emotionally stable.
He's solid. He doesn't get knocked off balance by other people's moods or little tests. He is the calm, unmovable center. So what's this frame built on? Well, you can think of it as 4 pillars. First, emotional control. Not bottling things up, but being in control of your reactions. Second, decisiveness. Third, a quiet confidence that doesn't need to shout, and all of that together creates the 4th pillar, stability. This makes people feel emotionally safe around you, and that's where trust and real attraction can flourish. Now, a huge part of this depth is mystery. Think about it. If you meet someone and they tell you their entire life story in the first 5 minutes, where's the curiosity? There's nothing left to discover. A magnetic person reveals parts of who they are slowly, letting others wonder and creating a natural pull to want to know more. And that brings us to our final and, honestly, our most important section. Where does all of this come from? Where does the energy, the presence, the stability actually originate? Let's talk about the real source of magnetism. If you remember only one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this. You cannot get this energy by seeking it from other people. It doesn't work that way. True, sustainable magnetism is a byproduct. It's the overflow from a life that is already full and interesting on its own. So, how do you build this? Well, it's not about focusing on dating. It's about focusing on yourself. Develop your own passions, learn things, create things, take care of your body and your mind, feed your curiosity. When you are genuinely in love with your own life, you just naturally generate this powerful, attractive energy that other people can't help but notice. And if there is one sentence that just perfectly summarizes everything we've talked about, it's this one. The path to becoming more attractive isn't outward, it's inward. It's about mastering yourself, your presence, your depth, and finding that quiet confidence that comes from knowing your own value, completely separate from anyone else's approval. So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. I mean, really think about it. Look at your actions, your mindset, your focus. Is everything you're doing geared towards chasing validation from the outside? Or is it focused on building a rich, compelling life from the inside out? A life that naturally attracts others to you? At the end of the day, that choice is yours.